Hello students, how are you doing? You're welcome to LODS lecture series. I'll be taking you through a quick tour on MKT 314 Business to Business Marketing. This video is for study session 2, Marketing Services and Strategies. Introduction. Before now, the average consumer recognizes the tangible physical products they purchase more than the services that go along with such products. Change, they say, is a constant. Thus, with the change in economic activities globally, most especially in Africa and Nigeria in particular, consumers are conscious of service marketing. Consumers wish to associate themselves with companies or organizations that provide super and efficient services for the products purchased or consumed. In this study session, you'll be introduced to how services could be marketed and the importance of services. You also learn about the marketing strategies. Let's quickly run to the learning outcomes for this study session. Well, after you might have studied this session, you should be able to explain marketing services. You should be able to outline the importance of services and you should be able to state the characteristics of services and you're able to discuss the task involved in developing service marketing. And you're able to explain marketing strategy, and lastly, you're able to outline the problems of marketing in developing economics. Marketing of services. In attempting to define service marketing, it is imperative to examine briefly the antecedent of service provided. Marketing developed initially in order to sell physical products such as toothpaste, cars, equipment, books, etc. However, as people become conscious about their environment and as their purchasing power continues to improve, the demand for fair treatment of the product. One of the major trends in the world and in Nigeria in particular in recent time has been the dramatic growth of services. Start on 1983 defined services as those separately identifiable, essentially intangible activities that provide want, satisfaction, and that are not necessarily tied to the sale of a product or another service. Cutler and Armstrong 1994 defined service as any activity or benefit that one party can offer to another that is essentially intangible and does not result in ownership of anything. Its production may or may not be tied to a physical product. Importance of service marketing. A start on 1983 submits that since World War II, the expenditure of consumer on service have increased almost every year at a more rapid rate than expenditure on products. This is just a pointer to its importance in our economic development. So service marketing is important for the following reasons. The growth of business services may be attributed to the fact that business has become increasingly complex, specialized, and competitive. As a result, management has been compelled to seek expert advice in providing such services, e.g., advertising, labor relations, product delivery, etc. Secondly, the rate of growth has not been uniform for all categories of consumer services. As disposable income increases and lifestyle changes, the demand for some services has grown relatively faster than some others. For example, the attendance at the movie center decline as people turn to television. And lastly, many product manufacturers have diversified into services because of high demand in their area. Characteristics of services. We have intangibility, inseparability, heterogeneity, and we have perishability. Intangibility. Since services are essentially intangible, it is impossible for consumers to sample, that is, taste, feel, smell, hear, or smell before they are purchased. These features of services place some strain on a marketing organization. The burden falls mainly on a company's promotional program. For example, insurance company does promote service benefit such as guaranteed payment of a child college expenses or retirement income or life assurance benefits, or telephone company informing the consumers of benefits using per second billing for long distance call as practiced by the company and other networks in Nigeria such as Glo, MTN, etc. Inseparability. Services often cannot be separated from the seller. However, services must be created and dispensed simultaneously. For example, dentists create and dispense almost all their services at the same time. It further means that services cannot be separated from their providers, whether the providers are human beings or machines. Heterogeneity. It is impossible for a service industry or even an individual seller of services to standardize output. Each unit of the service is somewhat different from other units of the same services. For example, an airline does not give the same quality of service on each trip. All repair jobs on automobiles are not of equal quality. In a bank, for instance, a counter cashier may be unpleasant and slow, while another may be cheerful and efficient. It's, however, important to note that it is often difficult to judge the quality of a service. Therefore, service companies should pay particular attention to the product planning stage of marketing program. Then we have perishability, which is the last aspect. Services are high perishable and they cannot be stored. For example, unused electric power, empty seats in a stadium, idle machines in a garage all represent business that is lost forever. Tasks involved in developing service marketing. We have market analysis, we have planning and developing the services, we have pricing of services, we have channel of distribution for services, and last we have promoting services. Market analysis. Market analysis is essentially whether a firm sells product or services. Market analysis is one of the most important tasks involved in developing service marketing. Therefore, marketers of services should understand the component of services or to understand the component of population and income in relation to the market of their services. Also, they must carefully analyze the rationale behind consumers' demand for their services. Planning and developing the service planning and developing the services. Product planning and development has its counterparts in marketing program of a service industry. Management can use a systematic procedure to determine what services will be offered, what will be the length and breadth of the service mix offered, what needs to be done in terms of service attributes such as branding or packaging. Then 3, pricing of services. Pricing of services are considered critical. This is because they are extremely perishable, difficult to store for a long time. The demand often fluctuates considerably. In addition, consumers may postpone purchase or even perform some services themselves, e.g., domestic repairs. Most pricing policies such as trade discounts, cash discounts, quantity discounts, etc. are applicable to service marketing. Quantity discounts, for example, are used by car rental agency. Cash discounts are offered when insurance premiums are paid annually instead of quarterly. For example, doctors and management consultants can use a variable price policy. Notwithstanding, service marketing providers should endeavor to be sensitive to consumers' income, needs, and demand in relation to prices adopted. Then we have channel of distribution for services. Traditionally, services have been sold directly from producers to consumers or from producers to industrial users. No middlemen are used when the service cannot be separated from the seller or when the service is created and marketed simultaneously. Promoting services. Promoting services is the last part of the task involved in developing service marketing. Management task is much difficult when the company must build its promotional program around intangible service benefits. It is much easier to promote products that can be seen, felt, and easily demonstrated. Thus, in service marketing, personal selling, advertising, and other forms of promotions are collectively used to achieve organizational goals. However, personal selling is essential while developing a relationship between buyers and sellers. Marketing strategies. Misbach et al. 1998 argued that strategy needs 5 definitions. We have 5 pieces of strategy. We have strategy as a plan. This is intended strategy, what is set out to achieve. We have strategy as a pattern. This is realized strategy, meaning that the strategy is the consistency in behavior over time. And we have strategy as a position, the location of particular product in particular markets. We have strategy as a perspective, a common fundamental way of doing things. And lastly, we have strategy as a ploy. This is a strategy which can refer to clever moves designed to outweigh competitors. Characteristics of marketing strategies. Marketing strategies is concerned with business unit strategy, also known as competitive strategy. Strategy is concerned with strategic decision making. McDonald 1996 identified 4 characteristics of strategic decisions, which include: they are concerned with the long-term orientation of the organization rather than day-to-day management issues. Strategy decision define the scope of the organizational activities. And lastly, strategy decision concerned with the matching of the organization activities. Significant features of strategic marketing. Emphasis on long-term implications include monitoring the business environment in such a way that it is a central element of strategic marketing planning. Then we have corporate units or corporate inputs. In making strategic marketing decisions, managers need to consider the corporate culture, the corporate stakeholders, and the corporate resources. Problems of marketing in developing economies. We have low marketing education. A well-informed and educated people tends to be prosperous investors and consumers. This is because they will imbibe the culture and tenet of marketing. But marketing education is still generally low in developing countries like Nigeria. Many policymakers and managers of large organizations still don't know what marketing is all about. Even when some people acquire higher degrees in the field of marketing and business administration, they come out doing the contrary instead of practicing the true marketing concept or relationship marketing for the benefit of the society as a whole. Preference for foreign product, which is another problem. Because of the development process of most African countries and their inability to produce most goods, especially technologically sophisticated products, they tend to prefer buying from the more industrialized countries. This makes the development process of local industry and commercial life of the people more impoverished. Developing countries constitute 71% of the world population, but only contribute about 12% of the world industrial production that often boosts marketing in these economies. Low patronage for non-essential products and services. The majority of the people in developing countries are poor and their per capita income is below average. This makes it difficult for them to buy much of luxury goods. Rather than their purchases and expenditure are directed towards satisfying the basic need for food, clothing, and accommodation. Non-essential goods and services receive low patronage. Marketing has also suffered dearly in most developing countries because virtually all production techniques are imported from their developed world. The cost of acquiring equipment and other inputs used for production locally to boost marketing is sometimes extremely exorbitant for a poor developing country to buy and finance. And lastly, inadequate infrastructures. Most developing countries are very poor, such that some of them depend on aid from abroad. There are cases of debt accrual and debt burden urging on some of the African countries that are yet to be paid. It invariably becomes difficult for some of them to provide the necessary infrastructure that will engender and prepare smooth marketing scenario. We have come to the end of this study session. Hope to see you next class. Thank you for listening.